A very warm welcome to our listening and hopefully participating audience. My name is John Carroll. I'm the CEO and founder of the Service Council, and welcome to today's inService podcast event. The title of today's session is Artificial Intelligence AI, the Tipping Point to Self-Service. I'm really pleased to be joined by today's featured guests, Jean Thomas, JT Célette. He's the CEO of Coresystems AG. A warm welcome to you, JT. Thank you for joining today's podcast.
Good morning, yeah, and thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So artificial intelligence has been taking the world by storm. Chat GPT kind of infused life into this, and it's becoming a more and more front and center topic. We are always plugging in with service executives and leadership to understand better, their technology priorities and what are they focused on with respect to business transformation. And earlier this year, service leaders suggested that AI investments would be prioritized. 27% of those that responded to our service leaders agenda indicated that AI was a prioritized investment. We recast the same question at the midpoint of the year, just in June, and that number had nearly doubled to 46%. So AI is, of course, continuing to become a more and more uh, prominent technology in terms of service leaders' priorities, but also in terms of achieving all the things that we're trying to achieve in terms of predictive, proactive service, so on and so forth. And we've heard a lot about systems and platforms built around memorizing, data management, around learning, machine learning, and IoT, around decisioning, predictive modeling, around recognizing with large language models, LLM, and then lastly, around interacting and decision automation and how is AI applied across all those different functions and facets of creating a predictive, proactive, and outcome-based service organization. And more, we're hearing about AI and its application to the service business, different parts of the service journey. So whether that's inside the organization from training and knowledge management, or external in terms of execution and when you're front and center with the customer, guided workflows and predictive and proactive support to our technicians and engineers in field. And today I'm really excited because we're talking about how AI perhaps is the tipping point to self-service. Customers are seeking to receive service in the channel of choice, and self-service and remote channels are becoming more and more appropriate and more preferred. And so, how can we meet customers where they want to be? And how can AI perhaps be that tipping point to self service? We've all had those self service journeys in our own personal lives, and there's always opportunities for improvement of that journey. And today, once again, welcoming back JT Célette, the CEO of Coresystems, our newest board member joining today's discussion. Welcome back, JT. Let's get into the discussion. Again, this is a interactive session. If you'd like to comment, post questions, react to, we welcome you to join the discussion from those of you that are listening from LinkedIn Live. So thank you for joining us. JT, wonderful to have you join me. Could you please introduce yourself, personal, professional background, and then we'll get into the organization.
Absolutely, yeah, and again, thanks for having me here. Really great to be here, and looking forward to our discussion here. Yeah, JT. So I'm originally half French, half German. For my kind of social background, studied computer science, so coming from the tech side. Then spent about 10 years in strategy consulting, really helping organization move forward the digital agenda, digital transformation. That's been kind of the keyword of that part of my career. Also a lot, obviously, touching on the entire service processes back then now. From then, I moved on to lead a drone OEM company, SenseFly, the biggest manufacturer of fixed-wing drones. And after some time at Google, I joined Coresystems as the CEO beginning of last year. Yeah.
That's outstanding. Outstanding. You'd be my youngest son's best friend with those drones. He is like completely impassioned by drones, and he just can't get enough of them. So I'll have to put you in touch with my 7-year-old.
Absolutely. It's definitely a cool industry with a lot of applications.
And I want to thank our listening audience. They share your enthusiasm and excitement for today. Thank you for the kind comments and hearing from JT today. We're just as excited, and I look forward to learning from today's discussion. So let's go ahead and, for many in the service industry, Coresystems, of course, is a recognizable brand. But for those that are unfamiliar, maybe you could give an introduction to Coresystems, your key customers, some of the industries and solutions that you're bringing to market. I think it'd be great for our listening audience.
Absolutely, yeah. So Coresystems was founded a long time ago in 2006, having been around even as a one-person company even before. Really started the whole journey in IT services by providing ERP integration services for small and medium enterprises, but then very quickly evolved on to become a software manufacturing company or software company. By building add-ons that really, especially were used in the customer service flow already back then, right? So everything on your customer journey, from sales to billing, order to cash kind of process. And then in 2012, the company really identified the need to digitize field service. And what that meant back then was bringing ubiquitous information, so being able to get data from the cloud no matter where your service engineers are, having that in the form of an app, being able to process data online and offline. And the company really pioneered that in 2012, developed the FSM software, and that was then carved out as a product and sold to SAP back in 2018. So FSM, that Coresystems originally built, is now part of SAP. Coresystems itself, just for the record, does not have anything to do with SAP, so to speak. So we're completely independent, because that's a question that comes up quite often. And so since last year, we've really continued on this mission to bring technology to service management, and embarked on a journey to bring AI to service management, and both service management and field service management, by developing the product that we've just released. It's called Inside Loop. And Inside Loop really looks at the entire service process, from before you even have a service case to during the service case, helping the technicians and the engineers there solve it as best as possible with the right spare parts, etc., to after the service case, when it comes to the tedious tasks of documenting, etc. So all these different steps in the process, have now been essentially AI infused and become more effective.
Yeah, and it's an impressive solution that you're bringing to market. I had the opportunity to be briefed by yourself and your leadership team, and I'd encourage our listening audience to learn more by engaging with JT and his product leadership team. Really, really an impressive product they're bringing to market. Let's go ahead and jump into the meat of the discussion here. So according to Harvard Business Review, 81% of all customers attempt to take care of matters themselves before reaching out to a live representative. I don't know about you, but if my refrigerator or my washing machine breaks, I'm going to YouTube, right? Do it yourself has become a trend, and I think it's here to stay, right? So what are your thoughts on this channel preference evolution? We see it trickling into business to business channels as well, industries as well. What are your thoughts around this flocking towards this self-service channel more frequently, where we see customers engaging on that channel more frequently?
Yeah, I mean, I can totally echo that. Yeah, also from personal experience, something breaks down, first thing you look at is your phone. You start Googling around and trying to pull the relevant information here. I think, if you look back, I mean, I agree. It's probably a trend that has become more prevalent even in people that weren't, do-it-yourselfers before, during the pandemic, actually, because, it was difficult to get into stores and get to talk to somebody in a store to kind of fix your microwave or something like this. And then people really started using online resources more. And, there's a wealth of information available online when you look at it. I mean, from obviously the manufacturers, who and this I think is a part of the discussion today, haven't really gotten. Most of them haven't really gotten around to making that information super accessible, but to the YouTube videos that you've been mentioning, as well as tons of forums, subreddits, etc., where you can find information or help on how to fix your problem. So it's definitely been a growing trend in the last couple of years, and I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to go on like that.
Yeah, yeah, our research predicts the same. I think you're absolutely right. And so we see this sort of shifting left strategy where, organizations are attempting to get closer to the customer and enable these self-service learning portals, knowledge portals, and all the chat and all the different elements of self-service. So it's becoming more of a prominent part of the customer journey, and in many cases the front line of defense, right? So let's talk about one of the potential downsides of self-service, which is, in a way it increases customer effort, right? So customer efforts become a really important metric in terms of dictating customer and predicting customer sentiment. Um, but the trade-off here, of course, is speed to issue resolution, right? They want immediate gratification, and this is uh, why we're seeing a preference kind of evolve around these self-service channels. But it can be very dangerous, right? In terms
Right.
of hard to use, ineffective. What do you think are the critical ingredients to a successful self-service experience? What are some of the elements that are coming together into a holistic self-service approach?
I mean, it's as you say, the end customer ultimately wants to get his problem resolved as fast as possible and
Yep.
at lowest cost, yeah, and ideally also have an enjoyable experience while he does that. So, uh, being able to diagnose what the issue is and feeling like there's resources available that help you, I think is the most important part. So if you have resources online in the form of videos or in the form of content that you can easily access, and that quite quickly gets to the bottom of where your issue is, that's great. But
Yeah.
if it becomes too cumbersome, or if the user that you're talking to, the end customer, is not, maybe doesn't have the right skills for it, or it feels overwhelming for him, it's still important to have this fast kind of break off point where you get to a really professional customer service employee who can help you with the problem, right? I've worked for a lot of telecoms and helped them on their service journeys, and one of the things we observed back then was the customers with the highest, or the customer groups with the highest net promoter scores, are actually customers who did use the customer service. So they did have problems in the past, and because the specific telco I was working with was so good at providing high quality customer service, they felt closer to the brand after having received the service than before. So I think it's you have to walk a tight kind of line here
Yeah.
between making sure that you have all these self-service, really great self-service experience, and a quick issue resolution that keeps you informed. I think keeping the customer informed throughout the flow is really important, because it shows the customer that you as a manufacturer, as a service provider, are really on top of things, and will make them feel at ease. So that's really important. But also, knowing that if it's not going to be fixable right away, you need to tell them, and you need to get somebody who's actually going to take care of the problem. So technology goes a long way, but if you're in, it's the same as in any situation in real life, right? If you're in distress, talking to somebody really helps. So
Yeah.
let's not forget about that.
And you know what? That kind of builds into thank you to our listening and now participating audience once again. We had a comment from a LinkedIn user that they see OEMs taking a close look at chat GPT type functions, limited to scraping their technical library to provide a very robust chatbot type functionality that can provide self-service answers using natural language. And they were curious if you see that same approach being utilized. I have some thoughts on this as well, right behind yours. Do you have any thoughts on that, JT?
Great, of course. I mean, this gets us right into the topic we wanted to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I think this is we have, with the evolution of AI over the last couple of years, with natural language processing and generative AI models, we've really evolved. AI has evolved a lot, and with ChatGPT coming to life, which was essentially the fruition of years and years of evolution there, that suddenly became publicly available and kind of mind blew pretty much everybody on the planet. we created kind of an expectations in end customers, right?
Yeah.
So it feels very similar to 10, 15 years ago when people were mobile phones. The iPhone had come out, like a lot of phones were out, and there was a shift in consumers because they saw that everything could be available in terms of information, could be available at the tap of a finger, like booking your hotels, you suddenly could do a Google search, like being in a bar with friends to find the answer to some like tricky question that otherwise would never have had the answer to. Like everything was just at your fingertips, and it really shifted within a few years, if that. The expectations of both consumers as customers, as well as employees as well. They said, hey, if this is available right from my pocket for like all kinds of means of life, why is it not available for my favorite brand? Why is it not available for customer service? Why is it not available for checking where my order is right now?
Yeah.
And why is it not available for consulting the employee directory right now, right? And I feel like so companies have then really struggled over years to, play catch up, really invest into like digitization, figuring out what it means, etc. Kind of like always being behind in a sense of the customer's expectation. Except of course the few tech companies that were really leading the entire thing here. And I feel we're pretty much in the same situation again with generative AI and with chat. You saw the tremendous growth that ChatGPT saw in unique users. So pretty much everybody has used it. My kids' grandparents use it. Like it's all over, and so the expectation is pretty much there that you can have an AI that helps you figure out stuff, that helps you answer questions, that helps you also then helps you fix your TV or your microwave, and that expectation is now there, and I think we can't take it back.
Yeah.
And we're in the same situation as 10 to 15 years ago. Most companies now need to play catch up, and catch up with the expectations of their customers, but also catch up with the expectations of their employees.
Yeah, my comments behind yours would be that it has to be done very carefully. You have to carefully approach this, because I personally have encountered self-service experiences that have been horrifying. Right, they've been ineffective in terms of issue resolution, and perhaps even burdensome to jump from that channel to a live channel where I can truly seek that issue resolution in a manner that suits my particular need, and almost a barrier of entry from jumping from that self-service environment to that live chat agent environment, to perhaps even that dispatch environment. So you have to be it has to be done carefully, and it has to be really effective in terms of approaching the customer issues that can be solved versus can't be, and stay on path to that immediacy of resolution. If you can't resolve, then let's jump to an integrated channel where it can be resolved, right? And so we see a lot of sort of integration of workflows, customer workflows across all these channels, so that it doesn't become a barrier for those customers to receive support in an efficient manner. And we talk to service leaders all the time, and the biggest thing that they point to in terms of the importance of avoiding commoditization in the customer experience is our people. Every day we hear it, and so there's something to be said about that human to human experience. Yes, you can have effective channels that start or perhaps even resolve the issue, um, but there is something to be said about the importance of that human to human collaboration and the human element. So it's not like AI and self-service and chat by itself. I think it's integrated into that customer interaction with the human to human connection. So that's what, at least what we're hearing from a lot of members.
Absolutely, yeah. I think picking up on that, there's very different types of customer service that you can receive, right? Jumping back to that telco, was a Swiss telco company. They have employees that speak local dialects and have local dialects and accents in order to be as close as possible to the customer.
Sure.
And are you going to be able to replace that, even over the next 5 years? I mean, today we're talking about chat where you kind of still type into a keyboard, but I mean, very quickly we're going to see that evolving into like digital avatars that really feel and act like humans. But are we going to get to this point where you can connect on a local dialect basis? Probably it's going to take a really long time before that happens, right?
Indeed.
But
Yeah.
for the more classical customer service experiences, and I mean, we've all called customer service and spent an hour in a line, waiting to get served. I think there's a huge amount that can be done there. Both in terms of speed, you immediately have you're immediately able to speak with somebody who understands the problem, but also in terms of competency, right? Because a lot of times when you reach a customer service agent, it gets you one or two transfers until you're able to find somebody who can actually solve the problem.
Yeah.
And to also go into a bit one of the questions that was asked here in the chat or in the comments, with AI, with what's at our disposal right now, we're not only having the knowledge of one, say, first level customer service agent, but we're able to combine the knowledge of pretty much all your customer service agents and give all that to one AI that's your new customer service agent. Yeah? Which means that at the first level, at least, right? If you say the new first level is maybe much more centered on AI, and the kind of second, third level is people that you interact with, we're able to pack a lot more experience and a lot more knowledge also into the first level customer support. And I think this is one of the big differentiators, and this is what's going to push a lot of the AI adoption in customer service.
Yeah, our listening and participating audience agrees. So we had a great comment from Sasha Ilyakin. Sasha's a board member from Tetra Pak. Thank you, Sasha. He's seen self-service work well for simple issues, those resolved in a matter of minutes. But for the more complex issues, maybe perhaps a little bit more work to be done to get there. And I think many of our members would agree with that. But let's see if we can help advance things today during our discussion. How's that? And I want to circle back to your comment. How mobile changed the bar scene, where you could find information right there at your fingertips. And since then, trivia nights have been changed forever, right? You got to hide your cell phone. You can't have a cell phone near you during those trivia nights. So maybe we'll see something as disruptive with AI in terms of self-service here. So let's go into how artificial intelligence is evolving self-service and perhaps becoming the tipping point, our today's topic. So we see a lot of parallels between customer and employee management. The more you can remove friction, make life easier, the better the experience. And many Service Council members have been discussing how AI and a broader intelligence strategy, inclusive of knowledge management, BI, and all the other inputs and outputs that can be helpful, customer records, asset history, all the things, are empowering them to achieve proactive support, of their support teams by creating guided workflows. So we heard a lot about the guided workflows and, not scripting, but guiding your workflow in the sense that if we fall out of rhythm, we can proactively support that frontline agent with whatever it is they're stuck with. Do you see AI having a similar impact on the customer experience? Can you talk a little bit about how is it guiding, how is it creating this pathway in terms of aligning with that customer workflow, that customer experience? Any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, to circle back, I think the first thing is really speed to answer, right? And having immediately someone, or in this case something, if it's an AI, that's able to provide you with guidance, and exactly as you say, guidance that's aware of your specific situation. Yeah, so aware of what's the fridge you've purchased. Ideally combining all the developments that we've seen from the last more like 5 years around IoT, and having all the information in about how that fridge is doing, to then being able to compile the right information to solve your problem. ideally even guide you to the right spare part, right? One of the clients we're talking with at the moment, we're rolling out this, we're rolling out the chatbot with them where the end customer is able to like get answers to their problem, and more specifically also understand what are the specific spare parts that they need. And then at the click of one button, they can essentially put that spare part into the eShop that's also connected to the entire service side of this client, and are able to order the missing spare part. And in essentially less than a few minutes, they have completed a big part of their service flow and have ordered the right spare part, which will get delivered to them, and then they'll be able to fix the issue. So having this seamless approach here and being able to get it in real time, I think these are really important elements.
Absolutely. And we had a comment from our participating audience. Thank you once again to Pankaj. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, but ChatGPT and Whisper, their audio API, can already understand 50 plus languages. We have customers who have uploaded service manuals in English and have people ask questions and have them answered in Swahili. So that's a really impressive application. And that actually ties really closely into my next part 2 question on that last question, which is, can you share any customer examples or personal examples of how AI has been infused into that self-service customer journey?
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, with Inside Loop, we built a product that really follows the entire service process from before the service, during the service, and after the service. And before the service, or when the self-service starts, I mean, it's the examples that we've seen here also in the chat. It's about having the combined access of your entire workforce, of all your documents, of all your update documents, release notes, etc., being made available to one AI that's able to compile the right information for you. So that's definitely, I think, the first step in self-service, and being able to, you have a problem, you're able to get a step-by-step guide on how to resolve this problem without doing it the way that you do it today, which is, if you're lucky, you find a YouTube video. If you're not lucky, all you find is the PDF manual from the manufacturer's website, and then you're scrolling through a PDF that was meant to be printed on paper that doesn't fit on your phone screen, and at the same time you're trying to repair something in your dishwasher, and it's a super cumbersome experience, which by using software like ChatGPT or Inside Loop, you can get these instructions in a really easy to read, easy to use fashion. From there, when we realize that the customer really needs more than just speaking to the AI service, to the service AI, we needs a kind of field service engineer to come out, help them fix their problem. We also there use AI by using all the information that has been collected, both from the interaction that you had with the AI at the beginning, but also but we know already from the customer what we can record during the conversation, and use that information really to predict what's the root cause of the issue that we're talking about here. Sure. And there's multiple possibilities what the issue might be. Then maybe you have 3-4 different root causes that you want to point to.
Sure.
And all these root causes mean you have different kind of spare parts that the engineer should bring on site in order to be able to solve the problem the first time he comes out. And I think this is the second part then, where the customer service flow for the end customer is really being improved, because you get a technician who comes on site who is better equipped, who also has access to knowledge and to like the repair manuals at the tip of his finger.
Yep.
And has a higher likelihood of solving the problem. And then ultimately, when we say after the service, it's really about helping the service technician there. Very often what they don't like to do is writing the service reports, right? That's the most cumbersome thing that the service technician can think about. Writing what I've done. And also there, because we already have all this information, we know what the possible root causes were, etc. we can just ask him to validate what he's done and write the report for him. So, over the entire service flow, AI here is helping and is making the technicians' lives and the customers' lives much better and easier.
Yeah, you touch upon a number of trends that we continue to closely monitor. We are right in the middle point of completing our annual research project called The Voice of the Field Service Engineer. And this is where we go to the frontline agents rather than benchmarking service executives and try to learn a day in the life of a technician or an engineer, and what are the top dislikes, likes, how could we make the job easier in terms of capabilities. Some really compelling research coming out of that. And paperwork and admin continues to be the number one dislike. That's the leader in the clubhouse and will remain there. But number two is the time spent finding information. And that's kind of neck and neck right now with a new one, which is GPS tracking. So they feel like all of these digital investments are a function of, being tracked and traced via GPS. And that's causing a little bit of heartache in terms of that big brother-like environment. But going on and focusing on that time spent finding information, it continues to be among the top dislikes, and that's year over year. I have a couple questions for you on that. What are some of the pitfalls of embarking on an AI journey within self-service to potentially avoid? Can you talk a little bit about A, how it's enabling the time spent finding information, and B, some of those pitfalls that you can avoid by perhaps embracing AI?
Absolutely, and I'm happy we touched on the subject because obviously, it's all about AI adoption and using technology, etc. But you have to really think hard and do things right. And I think this is super important because it doesn't take much to take GPT, create an API to GPT, give it the service manuals and ask a question, and it will answer that question, right?
Yep.
But it's the same as with your customer service employees. You also don't give them just the manuals on how to fix stuff. You give them training, and the AI, maybe you don't need it to get training per se, but you need to validate that it's doing the job right. Yep. And very often in service you have this 80-20 rule that 80% of the service requests are actually 20% of the different topics covered, right? And you need to apply that same mechanics to validate that your AI is giving the right answers.
Sure.
So really testing it to the bone, making sure that all the thousands of service cases you've had over the last 24 months would have been answered as well by your generative AI infused system as they have been answered by your first and second level support. Yeah. I think this is key, making not just like dropping something on the end customer, but making sure it works and it works in high quality. Making sure also you understand the drop-off points, like where is the limit? Yeah, where do you need to provide the customer with a human agent in order to solve the problem? That's of course a big one. Identifying these points and then acting on them. And third thing, I think this is also important, is really understanding what information you're sharing, where does it go, and what does it do there. It's one thing if you kind of upload a PDF document to GPT and that document was available on the internet anyway, so that's fine. There's probably not a big risk here. But if you want to get the knowledge out of the thousands or millions of service interaction records that you did in the past and that are somewhere stored in your service tool or CRM, and extract the knowledge out of them and use that knowledge, you need to be really careful to not obviously use or risk divulging proprietary information from single customers, or even uploading something to an AI like GPT that is company sensitive information that you don't want to sit on the internet. So in terms of planning it right, understanding what you do with the data, understanding if you're even allowed to use the data to do these kind of things, and making sure that if you're allowed to use the data, you do that in an anonymized way. That's key here, and that's where I think, as important as the transformation to AI is, it should not be taken lightly.
Yeah, no, I would agree. Proprietary information should be kept confidential, should be highly secure, and I would agree with you. You got to be really careful about where the information is going, for sure. Um, the other thing that I want to build on is, okay, so we just talked about some of the important functions and factors, or perhaps pitfalls that you can avoid. But what about some of the success highlights which companies can model around? What do you think? What are some of the critical pillars to a successful AI journey?
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked to a lot of companies, and what we see is, I think one of the most important things, and this applies to AI as it just applies to IT strategy in the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's is about what do you do yourself, and where do you bring in tools that are available in the market.
Yep.
And that's always an important and difficult decision to make. And we always see we see a lot of companies that same as when everybody was talking about digitization. Suddenly they build a big digital unit, they hire a lot of software engineers, and then they start tinkering on different things, and like 90% of it fails. And I think we're starting to see a little bit of the same with AI, because it seems like you can just upload as I said before, you can just upload a PDF document to GPT, and suddenly you can ask it questions, and you get answers based on the information in that document.
Sure.
So it's easy to build something that kind of works sometimes, but it's difficult for companies to really put the investment in and build something that works perfectly all of the time. And this is where doing proper vendor selection and getting help is of course of the essence. That said, I'm not saying companies shouldn't do anything themselves, right? I mean, we see a lot of companies, especially in the area of IoT, where they connect their their dishwashers and washing machines. Should they do it themselves? Probably more, yeah, because they are the best at understanding how their machine works. They are the best at understanding what error codes and different behaviors mean in terms of like what it could mean down the line for issues that may arise. So doing this careful trade-off of what are skills and capabilities as an OEM that you want to build in-house in the area of AI, and which ones you want to kind of buy, that's important now.
Outstanding. Let's build on that conversation, because we're talking about where we are currently, and there are some projections of where does AI go to. What are your viewpoints on what's next for service innovation, for AI innovation? Maybe even innovation within Coresystems. Maybe you can share some things for our listening audience.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm, as pretty much everyone in the AI scene these days, you're kind of torn between, are we kind of overestimating at which speed stuff is going to revolutionize, or are we actually underestimating it? It's really difficult to kind of get a hold on that question. Like, are we 5 years out from general AI? Are we 20 years out from general AI? Nobody can give you an answer, right? So this obviously also affects how we are thinking about stuff, and for us it's really important to always keep an eye on technology and adopt the newest, not adopt, but understand the newest developments in generative AI as soon as they come out, and check if we integrate them in our product or not.
Sure.
And so that's one. I think that's one of the important things here to do for every software company in the field of AI. For us personally, we've just released Inside Loop. I think we have a good set of well-functioning and well-oiled functionalities, as I said, from providing this GPT-like experience in self-service, to helping the technician during the journey, to even helping him document after the service journey. So we're in the process of expanding all that. You talked before about helping service agents being guided. So once we leave the self-service track, where people kind of help themselves with a GPT-like experience, and they ring the phone, you might not all your first level customer service agents might be trained to the same level, and they might not all ask the right questions, right? So one of the things we can do here, as the conversation happens between the customer service agent and the customer, is find out or help the customer service agent ask the next best question. I had an interesting conversation with one of our clients who said, okay, so the client told me that his engine is making a strange noise and is smoking. From experience, I know if it's smoking, I need to know whether the smoke is gray, black, or blue, because then I will know what the issue is. The first level customer service agent may not know that. But if he gets the information that the engine is smoking and making noise, well, actually it would be really good if you could ask exactly that question: what color is the smoke? And this is again where AI can help a lot. If you follow that conversation with AI,
sure,
you can trigger that question and tell the customer service agent to ask that question, and potentially make a huge impact on the entire service flow and on the speed to resolution. So this is one of the new features that we're expecting to come out by the end of the year.
Outstanding. That's great. And it does get down to that guided workflow process that we were previously talking about,
Exactly.
and sort of leading the customer to resolution, or leading the agent to resolution. So really exciting stuff. JT, we're really humbled to have you join us today for this discussion. This was kind of a short notice thing, so we appreciate you pinch hitting on short notice. But super excited to have you join our technology advisory board. We're better with you now, so thank you for joining. What do you anticipate from your affiliation with the Service Council? What sort of grabbed your attention to make this an interesting endeavor for you?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, let me thank you as well. I'm really happy to be here, and I think the depth of the questions you asked and the conversation we're having really shows that this is the right place. And I'm really happy and really humbled, also to honored to be part of the Service Council. What I'm expecting is exactly these type of conversations. Not only with you, but with other software vendors, with obviously service leaders from the industry. Because at the end of the day, we all together want to bring the industry forward and make the customer experience a better one. I think this is what everybody who's in this industry should be driven by, and getting ideas from other software vendors, seeing how you can cooperate with them. That's one big thing, and obviously talking with the end clients, with the service manager, not the end clients also, but especially also the service leaders from OEMs, etc. That's super enlightening, because that's the only way to really understand where their problems are, and are you doing the right thing in terms of solving them, and where can you get better. So this is something I'm really excited about.
That's outstanding. And for our listening audience, just to get to know you a little bit better on the personal level, what tell us something personal about yourself that you are passionate about, or something you're looking forward to. Maybe something for our listening audience to get to know you a little bit better.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, completely off topic now. What's related to AI and service management? I'm actually dialing in from Hood River in Oregon, and it looks like the wind is picking up. So after we finish these conversations, I'm going to be on the river kite surfing.
Outstanding. That's awesome. Well, listen, he is JT Célette. He's the CEO of Coresystems, our newest board member. Thank you so much, JT, for joining the discussion. Very insightful, a lot of critical takeaways and suggestions for those organizations seeking to embark on their own AI journey, and how does it apply to self-service. Really, I want to thank you very much for your time today. I think we helped solve some problems for some of our participating audience. So thank you very much.
Great, John. It was really a pleasure to be here. Thanks again for having me here.
Outstanding.
Great discussion.
So today's podcast will be available for download and consumption after the event. You can listen back to it, available on whatever channel you subscribe to, whether it's YouTube or Spotify or whatever. You can also access it at our LinkedIn page as well as our Service Council website. I want to thank you for participating in today's discussion and dialogue, and we'll look forward to seeing you. One quick plug. If you're not planning yet to join us in Chicago, September 11th through the 13th, at the Smarter Services Executive Symposium, I will do anything in my power to enable you to. It's setting up to be our best event yet. We have over 300 attendees already, bigger and better than we've ever been, and we hope you can join us. JT will be there. You can get to know JT further. So mark your calendars, engage with my team in terms of getting there, and if I can personally help you get there, I'm willing to put my back behind your participation. So thank you very much. Hope to see you in Chicago, and thank you for participating in today's session. And we will see you on the next In Service podcast series, I think in a week or 2 weeks' time. So we'll see you soon. Thank you very much.